So hi guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Where I want to begin with, I read somewhere that you've been playing music together since you were 14.
Yeah.
Where did you first meet?
High school. We met, in high school. We were going to the same school, same program. So we had some shared class sometimes.
Was there a music class or something that you knew of that you made music? Or?
No. I used to play klarinet.
Okay.
In the like there was a mandatory music class.
Same instrument.
Yeah. And I had to play clarinet because when you get there at this class, they try you on every instrument, and like the good ones add like the trumpet and the flute, and like only one could have the drums and bass. And at this time, I didn't know how to play anything, so when you were like the worst, so that they gave you the clarinet. Like there was like maybe 15 or 20 people playing clarinet, and like other instruments, the cool ones were the guys who knew.
I guess it's the instrument you hear the less and
Gotta put them in the back and.
Yeah.
And I think it was easier to play as well. Like I don't know, but
I don't know. I don't remember.
I didn't used to practice a lot, so yeah.
But I suppose this is a young age. So for the both of you, what made you interested in music and kind of find each other in terms of somebody else who made or who liked music?
Well, I started just playing with the drummer because that was the only guy that played drum, and like. So we became friends, and like Dominic just joined us, and
That was
spent the whole high school years playing together. We had like punk bands back then. Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, like there was a drummer and there was a guitar player. He was playing the guitar, so
Your brother was also.
Yeah, my brother was playing guitar, so I just thought like I should play bass, guys, and I just bought a bass and played in my room and tried to learn some songs. But yeah, that's how I ended up in that punk band. Like it was like they were missing a bass player.
Okay.
They were all my friends, and even my brother was playing with them. So I just thought, like, yeah.
Why not?
That was a cool way to waste
Yeah,
some time after school.
Yeah, like, it was like from Mondays to Fridays, every week we were going to our drummer's house. He had a basement where we could play. His parents were never there, so only the neighbors were complaining, but never his parents, because like I think his dad was coming at home around 7, and like we all had to be at our respective home. So it was cool. It was
good years.
Good teenage years.
But so you mentioned punk band. So was that the first type of music that you got into early on, or did you play different kinds of music?
Yeah, kind of. But like we were in high school and we were doing skateboards. That
Yeah.
you had the choice.
And like we grew up in
you either like listen to rap music or punk.
Yeah, we grew up in a suburb, so like it, like in suburb it's quite different than like big cities. So yeah, either you were like someone who was listening to rap, or the other like clan was like, oh, you're listening to punk rock. And like, yeah, we used to skateboard, so punk rock was the thing to listen. But now just thinking about it, I just thought I should have listened to rap instead.
If you look at the charts today, you can...
Not the charts, but just looking back to like what was cool in rap in these years, and what was nice in punk rock, and I just see the both of them. I'd rather listen to Dr. Dre, the Chronic 2001 than Rancid 2001.
Yeah, fair enough.
But still, still a great record, but yeah.
But how do you see then the development? Because I don't know when this band, as it now is, kind of was officially formed. But
Well, it's like 7 years ago.
okay, so quite a while.
It started like 7 years ago. It just me and a friend of a friend that became our second guitarist, Julian. And
Sure.
We just tried play together and was working. Yeah, it clicked.
And there was like a former drummer as well. Like first, like it was the two of you. Like it was Marc-André and you just like jamming for fun and jamming something else than what you've previously done. And yeah, when like they had actually something to show. Like at that time, we were living together, and once he just came back and he said, "Hey, we're trying some new music," and like he had iPhone recordings, and I was like, "Okay, cool. I might just like come and join you for a night and see what I can do." And yeah, that's how I joined the band.
That was not extraordinary.
Yeah,
it's like
so we
spectacular story, but it was just natural.
And then like we tried just like playing music, and after a while we were like, someone should sing in the band, and like no one would want to sing in the band, so
that's why we are two singers.
Like,
guess we wanted to split the job.
yeah.
So do you see yourself in a way as having two frontmen as well, kind of both in the front and kind of because of what I've heard, I'm not sure. I don't know if that's the same with you then, but it's quite a step to be the frontman of a band, because for a drummer you can just sit back, but you have to be in front. You have to talk to the audience. So is it easier having somebody next to you to kind of share that with?
Yeah, for sure. It's way easier. Like sometimes. I am mostly the one, like for example, during shows, I'm mostly the one talking to the crowd when there is talking to do, but sometimes I'm just like, I don't know what to say, and you will say or start something, or I don't know. Like,
it's usually really short.
Yeah, it's just like, a small sentence will do, you know, but it just feels like when there are two guys, you're less like the center of everything, and it feels like more. There's more the band spirit. That is more. I don't know. It's just. I prefer it this way.
Sure. And then by this time, Dominic, when you joined, did the band already sound a little bit like it sounds now, or was it very different?
Well, I guess it was more complicated for nothing.
Yeah.
If you want to put too much stuff in the same song, I think it's cool in a way, but it's kind of.
But like we really composed, like I mean, I don't know how many tracks, but we composed a lot of tracks before like doing any shows or just put out our first EP, Un Magicien en Toi. And that's when we decided to actually record an EP that we were looking at what we've done during that year, and we were like, okay, this, not so good, not so good. And like there are actually like 3 real songs on this EP, and those were the 3 that actually fitted together, and that's where we were like, okay, I think this is where we're gonna start, and this is how we sound in 2013, but that's how it.
And what is it like? Because then you bring out a debut record, Voyage Éternel. What is it like then that people are receiving it well? That people can find something in it?
That people can still find something.
No. What is it like that when you brought it out that it connected with people? What was that like?
It's always like surprising, I guess. Like you never know what people are going to think about your record, and
we never had like expectations.
Yeah,
okay.
doing like.
Especially at the beginning, you're just like, let's do something. And like at first, when we released the first EP before Voyage Éternel, I just thought like, are people going to think it's a joke, or are people going to really like it, or you never know. And when it worked out for Voyage Éternel, I don't know, like it was cool to see that like. Even like,
but it was surprising at the same time because we never like had attention to what we have done, and we always it was always something. Just we do it for us, and that's nice to have. Oh shit! Like it's at the radio and like university radio. But
university radio, and like also being recognized from like. Peers, you know, bands that are older than you and like have been in the scene longer than you, and like they dig your sound and they invite you for opening their show. So yeah, it kind of happened when we released Le Voyage Éternel.
Because how serious were you with music? Like you said, it was more for us. We were just making music for us.
Yeah. Still not that serious.
So you never thought
making it a lot.
We're still making music for ourselves.
But in a sense, did you dream of a kind of a career in music, or is this just something you do?
Well, maybe when I was 14.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we had more this dream when we were young and in punk bands, and it's like dreaming of doing like Vans Warped Tour and stuff.
Sure.
But yeah,
at some point at 18, I had something else in mind. And it's just like it's nice that something that is coming back to us like years later.
Yeah, but in Corridor, the attitude was like, I always been like, whatever, you know, if something's nice can happen, like let's do it, let's try it. We're always inclined to try some stuff, but we're never pushing it, you know. It's always, there's someone wants us to play there, or like we're working with the interest. You know?
Sure.
If there's still interest, we will continue. But if there's like our career would have been, you know, like a downhill, we would just have given up years ago.
Because that's interesting. Because now this new record is on Sub Pop. So is that how that kind of developed? That they were interested, and that because it was made in such a small period, was that kind of?
That was also surprising for us.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, the story is like we wanted to release this record this fall, and. Like the Sub Pop, they told us if you want to release an album in October, we need the masters in May. Like they never put out pressure on anything about releasing an album, but they're just like, this is the reality of scheduling a record. So yeah, at this time it was about like January or February. We only had like 4 songs ready, so. We like quickly went back in the rehearsing space, just composed 6 other songs, and then right after that we booked the studio for March 1st and went in the studios for like every day.
It was so intense.
Yeah,
that was so quick, and we were used to like last album. It took 10 months.
Okay.
From the beginning to the end of the recording.
The whole process.
The whole process, and I'm not speaking about like composing the song.
Yeah.
So
just like from day one in the studio.
So that was really different. That was kind of a process we wanted to do for a long time. Okay. But that was the good opportunity to do it. So,
sure.
But so. Yeah, let's do it. And fuck, it was intense.
There are good sides and bad sides, but mainly it was kind of cool. you know, you're in your bubble.
Absolutely no looking back at what we were doing at that moment. And
it can be quite liberating, I suppose, that you don't have to. Well, you don't have the time to think about stuff, so you just do.
Yeah, that's
just throwing ideas in. That's the album is it's that period of time.
Yeah, it's just ideas that we had at this time, and just
there's no second
never look back.
Proposition for a song. There's no
What was it like then? Because I can imagine being on a tour bus with a lot of guys touring around Europe or whatever is one thing. Being in the studio every day, like you say, is really intense. What is that like?
But that was intense because we had like this thing, the studio, and then in the middle of it, we went on tour for 2 weeks in the US, and after that, we went back in Montreal. We
finished the record.
And then
we went back for 3 weeks in Europe. So yeah, it was.
I had to take some vacation
from
so at the end, my friend.
I don't want to see you for a week.
No, not even a week. It was like 2 months, because like the whole process of finishing the 6 songs that we had to finish started in January or February, and like we had to be together like almost every day from the like February till the end of June, because like there was the studio, the tours, and like the rehearsing. It was completely insane. Like we really like each other, but when it's been like 5 or 6 months that you're always like seeing each other's face, you need to see other faces. So we had the 2 months during the summer to just like chill.
Well, that's also an interesting thing then, because you finish the album, you take a 2-month break, and then I suppose, what did you hear when you kind of came back together, and what did you hear in the album? Because then, did you hear different things? Because it was such a kind of like microcosm of just working really intensely, and then
it's still difficult for me.
Now we're just
I don't know.
We're on the point where we are. After next week, we're starting to rehearse for a month for the next upcoming tours of the fall, and we're just like realizing, okay, so we've put that synth texture and this and that sample, and we're just thinking about the live shows. And it's just like after once we finished the record, we just realized, holy shit, we're gonna need a new member.
Well,
that was too late.
So far,
That's also an interesting thought, because on the inlay, but also there's one name that pops up a lot, which is and I have to pronounce it right, Emmanuel Etier. So is he kind of like, and you've worked with him before, so is he kind of like the fifth Beatle in a sense, the George Martin to what you do?
Kind of, like on that record he played a lot of synths, but before that on Le Voyage Éternel and Supermercado, his involvement is more into like knowing which take is the best and how we could do it better, or he has a magical ear, and he knows.
Just pushing the band.
Pushing the band to the edge, so we perform the best when we're in the studio.
It's more like a coach than
right. And he's more a gear freak than all of the guys in the band, so he knows like the gear in the studio, and he's like, oh, okay, just try this pedal, or we'll try this compressor in the studio, and like he's just a great guy to have with us, and he's always also like sometimes we argue with each other in the band, like, oh no, we should use this, or we should, and he's the one who says you're right and you're wrong, and. Yeah.
So that's very helpful, I think. And you need that outside voice to kind of tell, objective.
When we do a take in the studio,
better to hate someone outside of the band instead of. Yeah.
when we do a take in the studio, like first or second take of a song, you would enter in the room and just like, okay, good, no. So and like he tried to fix things on the amplifier or the change guitar or you know, but definitely he helps a lot.
And he's a friend also, so
Yeah,
it's just nice to have a like that kind of a family mood once we're like in that kind of a bubble for a long time.
But it's also hard to keep it professional sometimes because you know, like the engineer is a friend, the producer is a friend, the four of the guys are friends, so sometimes you know, like the professional way to do a record gets like
But well, you have to if you only have a couple, like 30 days or something.
Yeah.
You have to be.
Yeah.
have to be focused, but sometimes it's harder to be focused if you're just hanging with your friends.
Sure. My French is very limited, so I couldn't work out the lyrics that well. So I'm not, and I believe Robert, you write the lyrics in general, right?
Yeah.
So can you give me kind of a just a glimpse of some of the themes that are on the album?
It's the first time there's no concept, no theme for the whole album. So it's, the album was like composed really quickly, like in that kind of emergency mode. So had to be really had to work the same way for the lyrics. So it's just work with things that was close to me, just story around me, friends and stuff.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. Portraits of friends.
Yeah, it's like mostly portraits.
Yeah, of people we know or people we don't know, and it's also pretty
about myself.
Yeah, pretty self-reflective sometimes.
Yeah.
Which song is about yourself?
There's a lot. There's Domino, there's Bang, there's Pow, there's Microscopy. There's so half of the
half of them is about him.
What I find interesting with the way you work is because obviously, we mentioned it's quite quick and you don't have time to process a lot of it.
Yeah.
So now afterwards, do you kind of see, for instance, with Bang or Domino, do you kind of notice, oh, but that maybe means this, and then you kind of realize that now?
Yes.
I don't know, maybe for you, Dominic, as well, because do you see certain things in lyrics that you only figure out now and when you're working on it?
I can't say so. It's still...
But the meaning is really blurry, so some people could interpret them really differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know what they mean for myself.
Sure. Yeah, it's like when I read the lyrics, preparing myself to sing, like I interpret it as they are, and when I ask him what it's about, and he tells me like a completely different story, so I'm like,
I'm not used to explain it at that time. So.
No, but I think that's also, if you have to sing it, you have to have your own interpretation. So
yeah.
I do think that's a good thing. Finally then, because you mentioned it's all about people around you, then the title track, Junior, is about your bandmate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's Julian, our guitar player.
Yeah.
So why did that specific song become kind of the album title?
That I don't know. The album title maybe because like Junior sounds good. Junior is.
It's always
There's a word you can say in English, in Spanish, and French, and
I don't know why. But just choose one of the one of the songs.
You only had a couple hours to pick one from that.
But yeah, it's not because it's about our guitar player that we named the album Junior, but
I think it's funny to have like an album dedicated to our own guitar player.
What did Julian think of the song?
oh.
He thinks, that's true. He would say like, whoa. But has he ever told you what he think about this song?
No.
Okay.
But like it's kind of.
But I read the lyrics to him.
Because it's during the chorus we glorify him, like we say he's like the all-star player of the band.
This is the best.
During the verse is just like stories about him that are a little bit like less glorifying. Once his pants were stolen after a show, so he came.
He woke
us up in the morning, and he's like, "Have you seen my pants?" And I'm just like, just waking up, your pants. And actually, like maybe 30 minutes later, we find his pants down the stairs, and with empty pockets, and in his pocket he had the car keys, which belongs to his parents. And we were not playing Montreal this time. We were playing in Quebec City, which is like 2 hours and a half away from Montreal. And he had to call like his parents. Hey,
just funny, like past 30 years old, you have to call your parents. Can you bring?
Can you bring an extra key of the car in Quebec City because the keys were stolen, and so the songs relates that.
So it's those two sides of him, being a really good musician, but also
disappointed parents.
All right. I think that's it. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.